Good morning, dear students. Let us start today's class with a small prayer. Lord Jesus, we surrender all patients and medical professionals into your heart. Bless us with your love and care, and help us to provide healing hands and smiling face during their suffering. Amen. Ave Maria. Today, let us see regarding the next component, the third component of nursing process, that is planning. All of us used to do planning very often. What is planning? Planning is designing what we are going to do in the future. So what is planning in nursing process? In nursing process, planning is designing the nursing strategies or interventions required for the problems that we have already identified in diagnosis. So, planning is a systematic phase of a nursing process where decision making is involved to solve the problem of our patient. In planning, the nurse refers client's assessment data and go through the diagnosis, and based upon that she has to formulate the nursing interventions. It is the responsibility of the nurse to form the nursing responsibility, but she needs the support from every aspect of the institution, medical and even other department, to make it more effective. Now, what is definition? Planning is a category of nursing behavior in which client-centered goals and expected outcomes are established and the nursing interventions are selected. So, planning is a category of nursing behavior in which a client-centered behavior, goal and expected outcomes are established and the nursing interventions are selected. Principles of planning. Planning, okay, what are the principles? Planning must focus on the purpose of what we wanted to do, what we are striving to. Second, it should have clearly defined objectives. Yes, why are we planning? We should have a clearly defined objective. It should be continuous and flexible. Planning is not for a one day or for a 1 second or one step. Planning continues throughout. It should be simple and there should be proper analysis. Yes, the more simple we plan, the more effectively we can carry out the activities. Planning is hierarchical in nature. It is based upon the need of the people, and again it is from the lower to the top, and even hierarchy. The nursing superintendent has her own nursing plan, and even the staff has got her own departmental plan. So everyone has got their own plan according to their hierarchy and need. So it is a planning is a need based hierarchy. Okay, it follows a hierarchical system. Okay, next is it should be precise in its objective, scope and nature. Yes, planning should be precise. Only what we need to do in order to solve the patient problems, we have to plan it. So principles of planning include planning must focus on purpose. It should have clearly defined objective. It should be continuous and flexible, and it should be simple, and there should be proper analysis. And planning is hierarchical in nature, and it should be precise in its objective, scope, and nature. Next, we will see the types of planning. And we can see there are three types of planning: initial planning, ongoing planning, and discharge planning. So, what may be the initial planning? Initial planning is a preliminary plan which is done by a nurse who performs or who provide care during admission. So quickly she evaluate or assess the patient, and based upon that she will have an immediate or initial plan. Ongoing planning, okay, that is updating the initial planning. So whenever the patient is, how long the patient stays in a hospital, we should do it every day or every shift, every hour, depending upon the need of the patient. We should go and check whether the client's health status have improved, whether we need to reset the priorities, or whether we need to coordinate more different nursing activities. Okay, that is ongoing planning. Third one is the discharge planning. So we have three types of planning: initial planning, ongoing planning, and discharge planning. As you know, discharge planning is done just before going into the, okay, it is uh, recordically writing just before going, but effective discharging planning should initiate from the admission onwards. Only then we can obtain and we can plan for a correct, or even from the first contact onwards, we should plan for a discharge so that the best possible care can be provided to the patient. Okay, now next we see the planning process. What is the planning process? Okay, so setting priorities. Planning process has got 4 steps: setting priorities, establishing goals, selecting nursing strategies, and developing nursing care plan. Okay, let us see each one in detail. Setting priorities. Okay, priorities. Okay, identify which is first, which is second, which is third. Okay, and how on. Okay, which is the most important aspect of the care, where which I should concentrate first. Okay, that is the prioritization. Now according to the prioritization, we have 3 types of problems. Okay, that may be high, medium, and low priority. Life threatening problems can be considered as a high priority. Maybe the loss of respiratory functioning or cardiac functioning. Okay, such conditions are known as having high priority problem. And health threatening problem. Okay, so it is not life threatening, health may be getting impaired. So impaired physical mobility. So if you are in the bed for a longer period, what happen? We may we are not using our ability, so we may miss many of our abilities. Okay, so problems like constipation, bed sore, all these things will be coming up later. Low priority means, okay, it is a problem, but we need not take care much. Only a minimum support is needed from the part of a nurse. Such is known as low priority. So high priority, life threatening, medium priority, health threatening, and the low priority is only just a support is needed. Now whenever we are selecting the priorities, we should consider certain aspects or certain factors. What are they? Client health values and belief. Yes, we are providing a client-centered care. So their values is given more important, and client's priorities. Yes, more than our priority, client's priorities are important, and according to the resources available to the nurse and the patient. Now we can provide many things, but the equipments are not there. Okay, so that unrealistic planning may not help in anyone. Okay, next is urgency of the health problem. How urgent is our problem? Okay, so whether do we have to be tackled it fast, or do you have sufficient time? Today we need to do, or tomorrow we have to do. So urgency of the health problem depending upon the patient's need. Okay, last is the medical treatment plan. Yes, what is the plan of our medical team? And our activities are always depending upon the medical plan. So factors considering in setting priorities are client's health values and belief, client's priorities, resources available to the nurse and the client, urgency of the health problem, and medical treatment plan. Okay, next, second is establishing goals and expected outcome. So here we are establishing. In the definition we have learned, okay, it is a process of establishing goals and expected outcome along with writing the interventions. So what is established goals and outcome? Clear? So after setting, okay, after establishing the priorities, we should set our target. Now, we are helping for the mobility for a baby who is 2 year old, a man who is 20 year old, and another old man which is 80 year old. Our priorities, our goal may be different. Yes, we are helping for the mobilization, but our goal is different. Clear? So for we must set an individualized goal, and based upon that we must provide care. So purpose of desired goal and outcome. What is the purpose of desired outcome? It provides direction for planning. Yes. Now for a 2 year old baby, whenever we are providing, we are looking according to his developmental age and we are supporting. A 20-year-old man, he has to work in full-fledged, so helping for the complete development. In an 80-year-old man, let us see what is his abilities and disabilities. Based upon that, we helps in mobilization. So it provide direction and it provide time span for the planning activities. Okay, there is a T. Okay, plan activity. T is wrong. Okay, provide time for the plan activities. Okay, provide time plan. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, within 3 hours, within 3 days, within 3 weeks. Okay, it actually tells the time. Serves as a criteria for evaluation of client's progress. Yes, we have formulated that this particular client has to increase his mobility of the hand within 3 days. Then by the end of 3 days, we can see whether we were able to achieve it. Okay, so it is a criteria for evaluation. Enable the client and nurse to determine when the problem has been resolved. Okay, so when we are going on, when the problem has really solved, okay, we will be able to identify if we are going along with the desired outcome, and helps to motivate the client and the staff by providing a sense of achievement. Okay, that is the staff, you not US. Okay, so by providing sense of achievement. Okay, next is the goal. Okay, now desired outcome and the goal. Okay, goal is broad and expected outcomes are the miniature or the broken down forms of a goal is known as expected outcome. So goals can be two types. Okay, so the goal is a client-centered and it should be specific, measurable behavior that is responding to the client's highest possible level of wellness. Okay, so that is our goal. Okay, that can be our goal. So goal should be realistic based upon the need and the availability of the resources. Now we can have two types of goal. As you know, it is short term and the long term goals. Okay, in many of our acute care center, okay, we are forming short term goal because within few time we need to achieve it. Okay, so client raises his right arm by Friday. Okay, that is the short term goals. Long term goals means it is usually done at the discharge and which is attaining in a home or in a chronic care center. Example, the client regain full use of his use of fit or use of his right arm by 3 weeks. Okay. Now expected outcome. Now expected outcome. Okay, what is it? It is a specific measurable change in the client status that we are expected to occur within our response to our nursing care. Okay, so example, the client will report pain acuity less than 4 in a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, so that is our expected outcome. So we are reducing, okay, we are still more cutting down, okay, specifically we are forming. Okay, many expected outcomes, totally we will get the broad goal. Now, criteria for expected outcome. According to ANA, outcomes are derived from the diagnosis. Okay, outcomes must be based upon the diagnosis, and the diagnosis is formed based upon the assessment. Yes, outcomes are documented as measurable goals. Yes, already we have seen by Friday within 3 weeks. Okay, this is a measurable goal. Outcomes are mutually formulated with the client and healthcare providers when possible. It is not only that we are formulating, we must formulate along with the client so that he will be motivated and he will be cooperating in a better manner. Outcomes are attainable in relation to resources available to the client. Yes, it must be attainable in relation to resources available to the client. What are the resources we have? Based upon that, we should plan. Next is the outcome should be in a realistic manner, depending upon the present capability of a patient. And outcomes include time estimate. Already we have seen by Friday within 3 months. Okay, so that is a time estimate. Outcomes provide directions for the continuity of care. It should provide direction for the continuity of the care. So this is the criteria given by the American Nursing Association while identifying the expected outcomes. Now, what are the characteristics of a well-stated goals and expected outcome? Okay, well-stated goals. Okay, it should have derived primarily from the first clause of the nursing diagnosis. Okay, first clause of the nursing diagnosis is the problem, real problem. So it should be from the real problem, and it should be possible to achieve, it should be feasible, it should be stated in terms of client's response rather than nursing activities. Okay, so okay, in terms of client's response, how the client is responding, okay, in that level, not that what nurses wanted to do. Statement of one specific client behavior, or whenever we are doing, we should focus on one particular behavior of a client, not more than one. Okay, that is a principle actually. Specific and concentrate. We should be specific and it should be concrete, attainable. Okay, it should not be flexible. Then appraisable or measurable. Okay, which can be measured. Okay, in the previous example you have seen the pain score reducing to 4. Okay, that is the measurable. They have given the scale. Okay, 0 to 10 scale. Okay, next is the valued by the client and family. Yes, the family and even the client should feel like it is important and compatible with the therapies of other professionals. Yes, whenever we plan anything, yes, we have the license and the ability to plan for the nursing diagnosis, but it should be okay all together. We are working for the patient benefit. So whenever we plan anything, it should be based upon the therapies of other professionals of the institution. Now, guidelines for writing the goals and expected outcomes. It should be client-centered. Okay, so the goal and even the expected outcome that should be reflect the client behavior, response expected after the result of a nursing care. Then is a singular goal outcome. That means only one behavior it should address. It should be observable. Okay, observable changes must be present so that we must be able to identify the outcome clearly. and we are able to observe it, perceive it from outside. Okay, now measurable. Okay, it should be measurable. Okay, quantification. Okay, even though the qualitative terms we can measure it as a quantitative form. Example, the pain is a purely qualitative and subjective data, but we are converting it according as a quantitative one. So it should be written in a quantitative form. Time limit must be written, and it should be mutual factor. Okay, here the nurse and the family and the patient together must focus on the expected outcome. Okay, mutuality. Next is the realistic. Okay, it should be achievable and it should be attainable. Third one is selecting nursing strategies or nursing interventions. So now we have learned how to prioritize and how to set goal and even the expected outcome. Now, next is the nursing interventions or nursing strategies. Okay, these are the actions that we are particularly doing to solve the problem that we identified in nursing diagnosis. Okay, now what is definition of nursing intervention? Nursing interventions are any treatment or action based upon the clinical judgment and the knowledge that a nurse perform to enhance client's outcome. Okay, we have the license, we are initiating it and we are doing it. Okay, such activities are known as nursing interventions. But again, depending upon the how much we are involving in that, we can have three types of the nursing intervention. So nursing interventions are any treatment or action based upon the clinical judgment if the nurse does for the betterment of the client's outcome. We can call it as a nursing interventions. Now, what are the different types of nursing interventions? Independent interventions, dependent interventions, and collaborative interventions. As the name suggests, what is independent interventions? Okay, these are the activities that the nurses are licensed to initiate on the basis of their knowledge and skill. Okay, here the nurse can completely, she can perform it. Okay, now we identified the patient mouth care is very poor. So we can go and think of what kind of care must be given and we can do it. Okay, so impaired oral mucosa membrane and we are providing care. Dependent interventions. Dependent interventions, we example is the medication that we are carrying out depending upon, based upon the doctor's prescription, and it can be supervised by the medical professional or it can be supervised by the any other professionals. Next is the collaborative interventions. Here, together, healthcare team as a member, along with the doctor, along with therapist, along with the lab investigator. Okay, if we are doing the care, if we are providing the care, okay, that is known as collaborative interventions. So we have three types: independent interventions, dependent interventions, and the collaborative interventions. Now, what is the criteria for when we do, how we select the nursing intervention? It should be safe and it should be appropriate according to the individual's age, health, and condition. Criteria for choosing nursing intervention. Okay, it should be safe, appropriate, and for the individual's age, health, and condition. It should be achievable with the resources available. Okay, it should be based upon the resources whatever we have, and it should be in congruent with the same points are repeating: client's values, belief, and culture, and it should be in congruent with other therapies of the institution, based upon nursing knowledge and experience or knowledge from the relevant science, specifically from the research, within established standard of care determined by the maybe the state law, professional association, policies of the institution. So it must be based upon the standard and considering the consequence of each interventions and plan accordingly. If the consequences are more than the benefit, then we should think of whether we need to perform or not. So these are the criteria: safe and appropriate according to the age, health, and condition, achievable with the resources available, congruent with clients' values, beliefs, and culture, congruent with other therapies, based on nursing knowledge and experience and the knowledge from even other sciences, with established standards and considering the consequence of each intervention, okay, and plan accordingly. Selection of intervention. Now, how we are going to select? Now, there are 6 important factors that we should consider while selecting and choosing the intervention. Characteristics of the nursing diagnosis. So, what kind of nursing diagnosis it is? Okay, so depending upon that. Expected outcome. What is the expected outcome? Then, what is the research base for this intervention? Okay, whether it is allowed. Now, giving sponge bath. Okay, giving sponge bath in a cold water is not advised. Okay, warm water is actually advised. Okay, so sponge bath. So, like whenever we do any interventions, make sure that it's research based and feasibility. Okay, that is the acceptability of the client and even the competency of the nurse or the person must be able to do it. So whenever we develop a nursing care plan, we must make sure that we are writing with date, okay, and we should have an action verb like explain, assess, and again the content area, spiral band-aid and the left leg must be clearly written, and the time element also must be added to it. Next is the purpose of care plan. A written care plan is designed. Now, writing care plan. Okay, developing nursing care plan is the 4th content of the nursing process. Okay, planning process. It is the 4th content of the planning process. Now, writing the care plan. Now, whatever we have interventions we have selected, now we are writing it down with the help of a date, action verb, content area, and a time element and the signature. Now, why we are writing? A written care plan is designed to direct the clinical care. Yes, we can make sure that if it is written, it is not incomplete, it is not incorrect, and it is inaccurate. Okay, so to provide complete, correct, and accurate care, we should have a written care plan. Next, a written care plan make possible the coordination of different people. Okay, if I give care, if I write the care plan, I start giving care, even if any one of you are coming back of me, you can continue the care which I have planned. Okay, so that is the written care plan makes possible the coordination of nursing care, subspeciality and consultation and scheduling the nursing diagnostic test. It enhances continuity of nursing care, yes, so that altogether we can achieve the expected outcome. Now, all nurses have the opportunity to deliver high quality, consistent care. It is CARE, consistent care. Next, at the end of the shift, the nurse will be able to identify whether she has given what care and what is the overall progress she has attained. Okay, she will be able to discuss based upon the care plan and a written plan including the long-term care. Okay, that is helping for the discharge planning, whether we attain or not, how much we can attain from the home. And a complete care plan enhances the continuity of nursing care between nurse in the hospital and the community. Okay, that means a complete care. If you are writing it, even if you are discharging the patient, we can follow up in the community. In individualized care plan, the nurse involves client and the family. So it is helpful for the participation of the family. Even after the discharge, they will be able to take care of the family and they will be able to continue the care at home. Now, guidelines for writing care plan. Now, when we are writing, okay, how to write? Already we have told what are the wording should be selected. More than that, it should be according to the priority. Okay, the first priority must be given with us. Okay, What we need to do the first, so write it as first. Use standardized or the medical symbols. Don't use any other words. Only use medically acceptable symbols and the words. And the date and the sign is essential. Okay, the one who is accountable. Okay, if I am writing the nursing care plan, I must be accountable to it. So I have the right and even the responsibility to put my signature. Care plan and for the client and the discharge are the home care needs. Okay, the care plan which include even the discharge and even the home care. Okay, whatever we need to provide care at the home. Okay, now last one is the type of care plan. Now we can see there are different types of care plan. Student care plan. Yes, student to learn. It is a part of education. So she should have the, as a part of the learning, problem solving technique, nursing process, and skill of writing communication and organization skill. She need to have the nursing care plan. The student write a elaborate nursing care plan, and with all these findings, and along with that, she has to write the rationale, so that the most elaborated nursing care plan is written by the students. Institutional care plan, okay, it is actually a part of the medical record, and each institution can have their own format. Okay, usually it is, even though it is their own, but the universal format must be accepted. Computerized pre-plan or care plan, so here it is a pre-written, okay, for the specific. Now all the children with a Waldry, okay, wheezing associated lower respiratory tract infection, they can have certain common problems. So if there are many patients, any children with this particular problem, we can take it and we can utilize even for other children and other patients. That is the computerized care plan. Standardized care plan means it is a pre-planned and the pre-printed one. Okay, so for one patient, recurrently one incident is coming, so we can utilize the standardized care plan. And if there is any new problem it occurs, for the unusual problem, we can write it in a handwritten along with that. Next is the care plan for the community-based setting. Okay, so now whenever you have gone to community in your BSc, you might have written community-based nursing care plan. So that is the nursing care plan we are writing for the family or the patient along with the family. So here we are encouraging on the family teaching, and we are even encouraging the family to be a part of it. So that is the care plan for the community-based setting. So there are 5 types of care plan: student care plan, institution care plan, computerized care plan, and standardized care plan, and the care plan for the community-based setting. So when you are writing now as a student, you will be writing the student care plan. So we have seen the 4 aspects of the 4 process of nursing planning. Okay, so that is the first one is setting priorities, establishing goals, selecting nursing strategies, and developing nursing care plan. So now up to care plan we have learned. If there is any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you.